Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Holly. It is the third Friday of February, and every Friday I pop in here and share another piece of artwork featuring that month's stamp of the month, and it happens to be this Say It With Flowers stamp set and thin cuts. And I love it that Close to My Heart is now offering thin cuts with a lot of our stamp of the months. And look at this thin cut. It is so substantial. Every single flower image and leaf image has a thin cut to coordinate with it, so that you're going to get a beautiful background around each of these images. And then the sentiments don't have a thin cut for them, but guess what? It's not a problem, because I'm going to share with you a couple of different ways that I've used this set. And I want to remind you to go under the promotions tab on my website. That link is in the comment section, and you'll see the different promotions that are going on right now for the month of February. We've got the Gnomes for Spring that just came out, and then we also still have the Love Notes promotion. And then the paper that we're featuring happens to be this beautiful Memories, Sweet Memories collection. And we just announced the products that we're going to be using in our next Palooza coming up. Tina makes a beautiful 4-page workshop featuring the paper and sticker sheet. Dana reimagines the corporate workshop, which is so fabulous. And then I've taken the card making workshop and I've created a good, better, and best option for you. So check that video out on my YouTube channel. And if you aren't a subscriber yet or you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me. And please make sure that you click the like and subscribe button, because you'll be notified every time I come out with a new video. So this book only has a few more weeks left in it, and then we're on to March. So make sure you grab the items from this catalog and your free copy when you place an order on my website. And let's go ahead and let me walk you through some of the artwork that I've created with this amazing set. So at the beginning of the month, I shared how to make this 2-page layout. And the technique that I taught was how to just take the images, stamp them with intense black ink, and then use the Clear Shimmer Brush to decorate them. Super fun. I also taught how to do the stenciling and just creating that visual triangle when you're creating your layouts. So that was super fun. Last week I shared how to do this card, and the technique that I featured was using inks with a water brush to first color in the image and then go back over and accent with a shimmer brush. And that was just so fun to create for you, and I hope you learned something. And that link will also be down in the comments to go back and watch that video. Today, I'm going to share with you how to color directly onto these images with the shimmer brush. It's a lot more intense, as you can see in the color. And I learned a little bit when I created this, so I can't wait to share that with you. And then next week, I'm going to also walk you through how to make this slimline card. Really fun and easy. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I've got all of my papers and pieces that I need. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to teach you how to do the stamping. If you haven't used our stamps before, they come on this carrier sheet, and all you're going to do is gently peel them off with your finger. Make sure that you don't pull or tug, because they are fragile and they can tear, and I've been known to do that. And then you're just going to wipe the stamp onto your hand to do what we call season it. It just removes any of the residue that might have been left in the manufacturing. And then this carrier sheet right here comes with this foam pad to not only protect your stamps, but it also acts as a cushion when you go to use your stamps. So always make sure you put it underneath your project. I'm going to go ahead and open up my intense black ink. It is a great non-water-based ink that you can use with water brushes and alcohol markers, paint. And I'm just going to set this right on to my outline. Hold it there for a few seconds so that that ink can get all the way in there. And look at how amazing that is. And then I'm just going to take my chamois and wipe off this ink so I can use this again. And I love our chamois. You just use water to activate it, to get it wet. And then when you're not using it, it can go sit right here on our new carrier, our travel box for it. And then when I'm using it wet, I just set it right here on top of the lid. And then when I'm ready to close it up for the night, I just cover this up. And because of these little air pockets, it dries out so quickly. Genius. And I'm so glad they finally came out with that. We need to actually stamp 2 more pieces here. So I'm going to just take those out. I've already got them loaded onto my blocks and get the intense black ink. And I'm going to bring this over towards me because I don't want to put my head in the view. And I need to kind of be over this so I can see where to line that up. I love that our stamps are clear, our blocks are clear, and it makes for precision stamping every time. I'm just going to wipe that little guy off, and then, whoops, good thing it didn't have ink on it yet. And then I'm going to just load that little guy up and then come over here, hold it there for a few seconds, let that ink get into the White Daisy cardstock, and voila, it is perfect. So let me clean off my block. I just love how great it cleans these off, and then I can put them right back on the carrier sheet. One last piece of stamping. We are going to stamp right down here in the bottom right quadrant. Grateful for you, friend. So I'm going to stamp that up. Just try not to rock your block into the ink. And I'm going to just hold that there and just let it set and absorb right into the paper and lift that up. That is perfect. And now I'm going to go ahead and start assembling, and then we'll come back and we'll color those pieces. So I'm just using the pattern paper from the Sweet Memories collection. That's going to go there just like that. And then I'm going to start adding adhesive to the back of these pattern papers. This one is going to, let me just look at my paper. This one is going to be at the 3-inch mark. So I'm going to line this up. I hope that you can see this here. I'm trying not to get my head in the way. This one is at the 3-inch mark, and it's going to go all the way over to the edge, flush with the left side. This is going to come right down underneath it. And then I'm going to put these 2 pieces together. This is mulberry, the purple, kind of pinky purple. And then periwinkle is this beautiful purple color. And let's just make sure that I have enough room. Yes, just enough room to put those down. And now let's go ahead and color these images before we pop them with some foam tape. So I have my handy dandy organizer here, and we're going to let's start with mulberry. And I colored this back flower in first, and these are very juicy brushes. But if you get a shimmer brush and it's not wet enough, it doesn't have enough ink coming out of it, just gently push where it says push onto a block like this, and then you can use the block to kind of paint from. But I have been using these a lot lately, so they've got a lot of liquid already. And you can see that I keep mine upright and store them in this travel caddy so that the ink doesn't leak out, because it will after you activate it. And if you've never activated a shimmer brush before, I will link that video in the comments below for you as well. Now we're going to use Ballerina for this flower right here. And then one thing I learned when I was doing this is that the sage was a lot darker than I wanted. So I used, on this leaf, I used the sea brook first, and then I accented with sage. So I'm going to do that and show you the difference. And you can do sage just like I did on all of them, and it's still beautiful. But I felt like it just needed just a little bit of softening. And then if you want to go back over these, once you've colored them in, you can actually add more color to your image just by going back and just pressing down a little bit more in the centers like this, and it will really intensify and build on each other. I'm gonna hold that up so you can see it, but isn't that so beautiful with that shimmer? I love coloring with shimmer brushes. So I'm gonna go back over these just so that you can see that depth and how beautiful and how easy really these brushes are to use. And I'm gonna do the same thing with Ballerina, just to create a little bit more depth on the centers. And then I'll use some glitter gems in just a little bit to accent with those. But now I'm going to take Seabrook, and I want you to see what a difference just using a lighter shade green is first on the leaves, and then going back and then accenting with the sage. Just creates a little bit softer hue of color. Not as much depth, but you can certainly pull out that depth with sage, just going down the vein of the leaf, and it almost just makes it look a little bit more dimensional. Just taking that light brush, I love how it's a fine tip, and it just makes it so easy to color. And I am not an artist at all, but practice makes better, right? And I think that is so stunning. Isn't that so pretty? I'm gonna let that one dry, and now I'm gonna color these two. We'll do this leaf first, and then we will color that larger flower. And if you've never played with these before, I would love to have you comment in the comments and just let me know, what did you like the most? What did you learn today while you were watching this video? Because I always wonder, am I teaching something new, or did you already know how to do this? So I would love to have you comment. And here we go, we're just adding that periwinkle. Such a beautiful color. And as you can see, just a little bit goes a long way. You do not have to press down and be heavy-handed with the brush. Just take your time, go back and forth. I'm almost doing like little feathery strokes. And then you can go back, press just a little bit more to get just a little bit more color out of the brush. And I just like to go back over those little black lines for some definition. And then let's add some foam tape to this little guy. Whoops. And I like that it doesn't bleed too much through the cardstock. But I always work on my Versamat, so I'm not worried about getting ink on places where it shouldn't be. And my Versamat cleans off so nicely when I'm done crafting. Okay, this little guy, I'm going to turn him around, and he is going to just sit right up there in that little area. And then we're going to take this little guy, put some foam tape on him, and then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of my leaf. And then we will be ready to finish this. I love making quick cards. And I really feel like this is a pretty quick card after you get done coloring. And I'm going to just set that right down there like that. And then I'm going to grab my scissors so I can accent with those beautiful sparkles. These are the silver glitter sparkles. And we're going to put a large one right there. And then I'm going to take whatever I've got left on this carrier sheet, which is only 2, but I've got another stash of these right over here, I think. Yep, I got another pack. And I can open this little guy up and grab another single one right here. And there we go. Whoops. If it doesn't stick to your finger first, right? Okay, there we go. Another beautiful piece of artwork featuring the February stamp of the month. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend.